I'm Danielle from Put a Finish on It, and I wanted to explain a little bit about where I got that name. If you saw my bookshelf tour, you know that I love a trilogy written in the 70s, 80s, and 90s by a husband and wife named Bruce and Carol Hart. This is the trilogy. It's Sooner or Later, Waiting Games, and Now or Never. I first read Sooner or Later when I was 12. This was published in 1978. It was actually a movie first that Bruce and Carol wrote, and then they adapted it into a novel. This book caught my eye right away because the back has cursive handwriting from the main character, Jessie Walters, and it's written to the reader. She speaks directly to you about the man in the novel, Michael. So she's 13, she sees Michael playing the guitar in a band at a shopping mall, and she thinks he's gorgeous, and she wants to figure out a way to meet him, so she decides to take guitar lessons from him, hoping that he'll remember her as the girl from the shopping mall. This book, as a 12-year-old, was the first time I ever noticed the writing style in a novel specifically, as its own thing. This book is written unlike any other book I had read before at the time. It's sarcastic and funny, and the way they put this across to you is by writing in fragments rather than complete sentences, so that the book just goes down the page like this, fragments. So you're really there in the moment with her, the way that it's written. I'll just read a little bit. And not that page. Alright. We are turning into my street, pulling up to my house. This one? Yeah. Bye, says Michael. Bye, says Jessie. And Michael pulls away and turns on his headlights because it is dark, well after sundown. Jessie runs into her house to light the Sabbath candles. So each of these sentences is written down the page as its own paragraph. So it's right there in the moment. It's in present tense, it's in fragments, and they really play with language. When she's in her guitar lesson with Michael, he touches her pinky to put it on the correct guitar string, and she says, "Michael and I were this close," and the words "this close" are written as one word, and that just delighted me. It was the first time I had ever seen language being played with that way to put something across to the reader. The excitement, the in the moment excitement of being that close to Michael. Then the second book was written in 1981, the year I was born. So a couple years later, but it picks up right after the first one, the moment after the first one ends. So we get to hear the continuation of the story. The third one, Now or Never, again, it still has that same handwriting in the back. Was written a full decade later, and by the time I found it, of course, it was just a couple of years later for me, so I didn't have that decade long to wait. But it's rare now, hard to find, and I'm so glad I have the complete set of these books. So Put a Finish on It comes from the first one, when he's teaching her guitar. She plays her series of chords and he plays the melody over them, and then when the song is about to come to an end, he says, "Put a finish on it, Jess." And she loves it when he calls her Jess, so "Put a finish on it, Jess." And then by the end of the novel, "Put a finish on it" comes to mean something else. And I just loved this book. I talked about it in college when I had to do a presentation on a novel. And I just thought at the time that the idea of a husband and wife writing a romantic story together was the most romantic thing ever. I couldn't imagine writing with my husband. What an idea. And so I love that phrase, and I love these books. I chose Put a Finish on It for my copy editing site because, one, because of course this connection, and two, then to put a finish on it means to give it that final polish, that one last look to make sure everything's just right before putting it out there for your readers. Thanks for watching.